South Korea has one of Asia's fastest growing economies, but it faces a looming threat to its success. A population that's aging faster than in any other rich world country.
Are facing the challenge of an aging population and the strain that puts on healthcare resources.
Out that as China's population ages, the country faces a huge demographic problem that will affect all aspects of its economic and military aspirations.
What do you think about growing old?
Weird.
Bad. Why is it weird?
Going through puberty and all that stuff.
What do I think about growing old?
Yeah.
I don't want to grow old. I want to stay young.
What makes it bad?
I die.
How do you plan to retire?
No.
With lots of money. I don't know.
Not planned to retire.
Here's some candy. How do you feel about giving half of it to your mom?
I do it, but I'd rather eat it all.
I feel good.
Gavin, leave. Let's talk about the aging population and why you should care.
More than ever, the elderly population, those over 65, makes up a significantly greater portion of the population than ever before.
There are 3 reasons for this.
1. Low fertility rates.
Or how well you can have babies.
Reason number 2, low mortality rates. It's the 21st century. Basically, people live forever now.
Reason number 3. People move countries. Good because they work and pay taxes. Bad because they add to the population that we already have.
There are other reasons for demography shifts. Take China, for example.
My sister uses spray cans sometimes. Hey, let's create a demography disaster by letting our citizens only have 1 kid.
Hey, sounds good.
These countries are similar in the sense that they both have a large, growing, aging population, but different in the sense that they have way different government styles.
People get old, they need health care, and it costs money.
This can negatively affect the economy.
In both of these countries, the dependency ratio is shifting. There are less working people for every elderly person. Why is this a problem? Both China and the US provide health care for their elderly. These systems are usually called Social Security. They provide financial assistance for their elderly by collecting taxes from the working population. If there are not a lot of people to pay taxes, it becomes hard to pay for the elderly health care.
But,
High taxes are not good for the US. People have their own bills to pay.
so, how do you provide healthcare for a growing population without ruining the economy?
Barry Rand said this about retirement systems. Many of society's institutions are stuck in a mindset designed for a 20th century life course.
Solution number 1.
Annual cost for a full-time home health care service costs about $21,000 between nurses and supplies. If we could start using robots to replace tasks that a nurse could do, for even half of the day, we could save about $10,000. Cutting that price in half.
Solution number 2.
Everyone knows what TGIF means, but do you know what ITFG means? Invest in the future generations.
For example, in Beijing, China, they invested $180 million in the education of their future generation to create a more self-sufficient generation that does not have to rely on the government as much. That's a lot of cash!
It could be time to reconsider what retirement means.
Retirement used to be considered a burning purgatory.
Now it is seen as a time for relaxing and travel.
Should we?
Start saving earlier in our lives?
It's time to take action for your future.
There are new warnings that the nation will struggle to support its ageing population unless immigration rates increase.
Germany's federal government knows the country's economic future depends on a sizable workforce. So open immigration policies have transformed cities like Berlin.
Have you heard the news lately, Grandma?
She has bigger problems than that, like healthcare.
Actually, Sam, immigration is a big issue, maybe more than some people may think.
I'm Ethan. Immigration may be able to solve some of the issues considering an imbalance of the young and elderly populations.
I was actually just reading about this. Due to young people moving to settle in different countries for college, job opportunities, or even beginning a family, the young population in America is decreasing.
And immigrants may be able to help. If we bring in young immigrants who will fill the places of young natives who have migrated, then it will help in the imbalance of the population.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't get too ahead of yourself there. Just because they're
Young.
old doesn't mean that they won't ever age. And young immigrants age like the rest of the population. And then they will create a negative effect where the gap of ages is defined even more.
Fine, what about the problem where there is low fertility rates?
No. Low fertility rates are caused because the cost to raise a child is high, and doing that while you're young is surely not easy. Immigrants.
Come to this country and potentially have children, adding to a larger young population.
Also, due to an increase of retirement because old people are everywhere, job opportunities are opening up and less people are filling them.
Young immigrants can come in and fill those places. Besides, 70% of the workforce population is made of immigrants, legal and illegal.
Newcomers from different countries may be able to contribute skills learned from experiences that natives of a country might not have been able to access. This can attract employers who want to have expectations of productivity raised in their companies.
Immigrants may even be traveling to seek a new life, becoming interested in learning the ways of labor.
Many are willing to educate themselves so they may be able to provide new skills to the workforce.
Do you think this is such a good idea, though? What about all the negatives that come with this?
Well, young immigrants just age with the rest of the population, and what if they don't want to have children? What makes you think they're going to want to have children? What if they don't have skills? You know that countries might overlook skilled immigrants just because they're foreign, right? They don't want to be confident in who they hire, and they're more likely to hire a skilled native than a skilled immigrant. And what about the fact that there are far too many people in the world for immigrants to have an impact on the population? The exception of new and different people can help the aging demographics, but by a slight amount. Immigrants may help in the workforce, but they could also end up just increasing population numbers altogether.
If governments decide to allow immigrants who will potentially
The population even more, they are going to have to annually and continuously allow immigrants to keep the balance, doubling the young generation each year to maintain the same rates. So what do you think, immigration or not? Is giving half of your candy to mom a bad thing? And what do you think about retirement? Consider all these questions. Thanks for watching. Sam Christensen.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the economy and healthcare of an outrageous imbalanced population, or take arms against this sea of troubles, and by accepting immigrants, hire them to work to have children.
Reason number 2, low mortality rates. Newcomers from different countries may be able and willing to contribute skills learned from experiences that natives of a country might not have been able. Okay, I am speaking cursive.
Doesn't mean that they won't ever age. And young immigrants age like the rest of the population. And then they will...
So what do you think, immigrants or not? Is giving half your candy mom?
Suffer the economy and healthcare of an outrageous imbalanced population, or take arms against the sea of troubles, and by accepting immigrants to hire them to work to have children.
Yeah.
Olivia, you sharing it?
Can I watch my so hard? I love my mom.